Hello, hello. Welcome to today's class. We are going to do a session for deep dive into the water element, the element of the winter according to Chinese medicine. So to start with, let's just close our eyes and we'll do a little bit of a meditation to get more aware of the water element within us. Yeah, so please find a comfortable seat. You can sit on a blanket or on a pillow, and then ground your sits bones and just take a couple of breaths, releasing any tension, any stress, any distraction, and just make the conscious decision to be here, fully aware, for the next 1 hour and 15 minutes. And your sits bones ground, press into the mat whilst your spine lengthens up. And maybe you want to sway a little bit side to side with your upper body just to get that beautiful balance between the left and right sits bone and the front and the back of your hips. So you could just sway a little bit side to side. And that kind of fluid movement, that swaying, circling, waving, it's very much representing the flow of water. We're gonna explore that today in today's class. And when you feel ready, just come to stillness, just like water comes to stillness as well. For now, just bring your awareness to the inside of your mouth and notice saliva on your tongue, below your tongue. Maybe as you breathe, you can observe the humidity on your out breath. Moisture in your nose, and then sense the water element in your eyes, the moisture in your eyes. Notice it in your armpits. And then sense a water element within your skin, your veins, your tissues, knowing that our body consists of more than 70% water. And then one deep breath in to the nose. At the top, hold for a moment, and then let's breathe it out through the mouth. Relax the shoulders. And then you can blink your eyes open. Welcome. Welcome back to this world. And we are actually going to start with a little bit of wavy movement. So I would love for you to take your arms out to the side with the palms facing up. And you're going to inhale, take the chest up, arms back. And then exhale, round your back, bring the hands together in front of you, slightly bend your elbows, tuck the chin, look at your navel. And then inhale all the way back with the arms, lifting your head up, stretching the heart. And then exhaling, gazing down to your navel, bringing the hands together around your back. And go a few times in this flow. Inhale, open. And exhale to close. And we're just resembling different movements of the water within our body, in our body today. So we can wave Water can spiral. Water can also go really uncontrolled. If you just think of the ocean sometimes being really, really disturbed in a way. And water can also be completely still. So we're going to explore all of this today in a Yin Yoga kind of way. So arms come down, and now we are going to simply take the hands to the knees and take a few circular movements. Remember to go with your breath here as well. Inhale forward and exhale back. The water element is the most yin element in Chinese medicine. The darkest, still, most inward, most feminine. Let's circle the other way around. Let's come back to the center. We are going to start with our first yin long hold with butterfly pose. So bring the soles of the feet together. If the knees are quite high up, then you can just slide something under your buttocks and sit on it so that your hips are elevated and the pose becomes a little bit more accessible and easy. And we are going to simply either sit straight if you feel quite a stretch here on the inner leg, or you can lean slightly forward if that feels good for you. And what we are doing here is stretching the meridian, the kidney meridian, so the two organs that are associated with the winter and with the water element are the urinary bladder and the kidney meridians. And the kidney meridian runs kind of from the sole of the foot here over the ankle, up the inner leg, and it goes over the groin and up the center of the body, and then goes by the sternum. It takes a little leap outside and then ends by the collarbones here. And the kidneys, you know, in Western medicine you can live with just one kidney, but in Chinese medicine the kidneys are a vital organ that stores energy that is essential for life. So there is kidney qi that is given to us from our ancestors, from our parents. But then there is also a certain qi, kidney energy, that we create by breathing and by eating certain foods and by living a certain lifestyle. When kidney qi is finished, life ends. So you see this kidney qi is like in the car, the petrol tank. It is what allows us to take action in life. It allows us to keep going. So it's very important to fill up the tank, that kidney qi tank. There's different ways you can do that, but for sure practicing stimulation of this meridian is a great way to fill up and recharge that battery. or in the battery, especially in the winter time when it's the time to recharge, the time to go deep, take time. And this is another way to recharge the kidneys, is to simply be a little bit more quiet, sleep more, be more reflective. Take time to journal, to meditate, to simply be. It's also important to keep the kidneys warm, to keep the spine, neck, shoulders warm. So some days you might feel this more on the groin area, on the inner leg, inner hip, and some days you might feel this more in the outer hips. Wherever you are, honor your body, honor the experience, and simply observe and be with whatever is present right now. Breathing through the sensations. Relax the head as much as you can. Just a little bit more. And then slowly push into your hands and come all the way up. You're going to bring the hands behind you, take the soles of the feet about hip distance apart, and just drop the knees to one side and to the other side. The windshield wipers. Awesome. Good. And then we are going to take the left leg into half butterfly and the right leg out to the side. And let's explore a little bit again this wavy movement of the water. We're just gonna take the hands left and right and just sway a little bit side to side in order to prepare our body for the side stretch, but also to simply create a little bit more mobility around the spine. Oops, that was my microphone. And as you do this, you could visualize being under the water, like as if you were seagrass, just going with the current, left, right. So visualizing blue color water also helps to really strengthen that element. And then let's come over the leg, left arm coming over the ear, and you can let it hang above the head like this, even leaning the arm a little bit on top of the head. Or if you want to, you can take that arm behind you with the palm facing away from the back, and then you can just hang like this if the first option is not comfortable for you. We're gonna hang out here for a little while, about 10 breaths, 2 minutes. You should probably feel a bit of a stretch on the inner leg there. You can relax the right shoulder as much as you can, and maybe you want to even lean the head on the right hand. You can bend the right elbow, place it on your thigh. If you have yoga blocks, you can put yoga blocks here in front of the leg and elevate yourself on top of the yoga blocks. Maybe you have a stack of books or something like that. And just a little bit more. Keep breathing. Remember that it's important to really relax your body whilst you're in these Yin Yoga postures. And that way you can get really deep into your meridian system, into the subtle energy body. Tap into that information flow along the meridian lines. We might call it chi, we might call it energy, we can call it information, like a source of information flowing along these lines, informing the body. So whatever you want to call it, but just be aware that there is this net of energetic pathways, and you are working with this right now. Okay, let's bring the top arm down. If you had it folded behind you, then just bring it out to the side. And now we are going to counter this a little bit of a counter pose for the side stretch. Take the left hand a little bit behind you, and you're gonna lift up on your left shin. So come up, lift up, push the hips a little bit forward, and just take a few little circles with the right arm. And then drop it back down. Amazing. Okay, so let's do the second side, please. Bend the right knee, left leg out to the side, a little bit of a stretching sensation on the inner leg. And we're just gonna start by swaying a little bit from side to side. Again, visualizing being under the water, under the blue sea, being seaweed, just going with the flow, with the current. Until you finally feel ready to drop into the stretch, taking your left hand towards the left leg, right arm above the head, maybe placing the hand on top of the head. And you can just hang in the air, or if you want, you can stack the head on the left hand. Bring the elbow to your thigh or to a stack of books or a block. And find what feels comfortable for you here in this position. How can you make this, a healing experience for yourself? Something that needs the least possible effort for you. The flow of energy of the winter and the water element is downwards, inwards and downwards, as we can see from nature. Even fish, for example, on a frozen lake, they go downward, they stay down deep. Many animals just go into a retreat and sleep in the winter. They go down underneath the earth to do that. Plants take the energy within. Leaves fall in the fall, and what's left for the winter is to just conserve that energy and wait for the right moment to again spring forward in the spring. So for us, the same energy going downwards. Also, interesting fact is that the emotion of the water element, when it's out of balance, okay, is the fear. And I've just been a little bit struggling there, because fear has a negative, kind of like a negative, aftertaste. But fear doesn't always have to be a negative thing. And I will explain why that is in a moment. But just take a couple more breaths here. Great, and then take the arm up, turn up, and we are going to take the right hand out to the side and take the left arm up. And a few circles with that left arm. Amazing. So come down. Now that we have done each side, I would love for us to go forward. So both legs out to the side. Remember, you can sit here on something, on a blanket or a pillow, if this is difficult to sit straight. So you might just stay here seated like this if you can feel already a stretch in your kidney meridian. You might, if this is kind of difficult to sit up straight, take your hands behind you and simply support yourself like this, relax the legs and enjoy that stretch. Or you might be able to come forward a little bit. Remember, not going to 100%, just go to your 60-70% capacity. And let's hang out here for a little bit. Now getting nicely, deeply into that kidney meridian, into the inner leg. And fear is such a thing, when our water element is in balance and we have a constructive fear, a fear that is just enough to protect us from doing something stupid, or for, taking risks that are just in no relation with, it's just that kind of thing where we're taking too many risks, we are not taking care of ourselves. And when water is in balance, this just does not happen. And you have a kind of fear that is just the right amount to protect you. And, when water element is out of balance, we can also become overly fearful. So it can go both ways. You can either be, too risk-driven and too little fearful when it's out of balance, or you become extremely anxious and extremely fearful of things. So you see that there is like two extremes, and as the Buddha says, let's find the middle way. The middle way is when we are in balance. And that energy that I was talking about, that downward energy of the winter and of the water element, it's interestingly expressed through, a fearful situation where you get really, really scared. That downward energy movement, how it releases the urinary bladder, and we might lose a little bit of urine. So I just find this very fascinating, how something that we all know and we all have seen is explained by Chinese medicine through the energy system. And this first half of the class, we are really focusing here on the kidneys. But the second part of the class, we are going to go deep into the urinary bladder meridian, which is the second meridian of this element. Let's take a few more breaths. Now going really nice and deep here into the kidneys. Slowly, slowly rise up. And then bring the hands under your knees and bring the legs in back into the position where we can do windshield wipers to release the spine if you've been folding forward, but this will also feel really, really nice for the knees after such a long forward bend, and stretch in the legs. So let's do something with knees bent, just because after such a long stretch, it's just nice to have them a little bit bent. So left leg down, right leg on top. And here we are starting to touch on the urinary bladder meridian, and I'm going to explain to you where exactly it is. So the urinary bladder meridian starts here on the inner eye, and it then goes up over the head, down the neck, down the both sides of the spine, and it crosses in two lines over the buttocks. So we are here stretching a little bit into that portion of the meridian, and then it just goes down the back of the leg, out over the outer ankle, and towards the small toe of the feet, of both feet. sit here, as you sit here with this stretch, you might want to visualize the ocean, the rolling in and out of the waves. And you can do that even with your breath. Imagine that your in-breath is bringing in the wave onto the shore, and that your out-breath is releasing the wave back into the ocean. Let any sigh, any yawn, any sound just release and come to you as it needs. Really relax your face, your eyes. And then slowly begin to open up your eyes. Take your hands behind you. And we're going to shake out the legs a little bit before going on to the other side. And you can even just massage your knees a little bit here. Rub, rub, rub. And then let's do the other side. So right leg under, left leg on top. The water element not only has, of course, this emotion of fear, but it has many gifts to offer to us when it's in balance. And one of the gifts is the ability of just being okay with not knowing, with the unknown. The water element, the yin element, is all about the depth and shadow and what is unseen, kind of in the dark. And so it's a lot about just not knowing and being okay with not knowing what will be, but having a tremendous amount of trust. But then there is also a part of the water element which is about knowing. And the yin kind of knowing is the one, that kind of knowing that does not come from the conscious mind, the ego mind that just wants to be right and know all things, and it wants to have more and more information and just know it all. But this kind of knowing of the water element is a deep kind of knowledge, a spiritual knowledge and intuitive knowledge of the things from a deep place. a place of knowing that you cannot explain. It's just, you just know. So a strong water element can really mean that you have a deep intuitive power. So let's come back to our visualization of just the waves rolling in and out, visualizing the water. Last deep breath. And let's release this pose. So take your hands behind you, lean a little bit back, and then take the legs forward. And you can shake out the legs, the knees. You can massage your hips a little bit. Good. So we have one more deep stretch for the kidney meridian, which is going to be frog pose. And frog pose, you come onto your knees, turn around on your mat so that you face the long side. If you have blocks or pillows or stuff like that, then bring it to you in front of here. And then take the knees out wide to the side. Look back and see that the legs are in a 90-degree bent in a 90-degree angle. So the shins are 90-degree angle to the thighs. And this is frog pose. Now we can come down onto the forearms and just be like this. That's completely fine. If you have pillows, blocks, bolsters, whatever you have, you can place it here under your upper body somewhere where it feels like it's a nice support for you. Because doing this pose without a prop like me today can feel quite intense. So I oftentimes really like to use something just to elevate and hold up my body a little bit, my upper body, so that the weight is not so strong and it's not pushing my knees apart so much. But for today I feel fine, so I'm gonna just stay and hang out here. But if you can, place yourself on the pillows and just relax your head. Frog pose, deep stretch for the for the kidney. See, to relax your body wherever you can. Of course, we have to use a certain, effort to hold up the shape, but see where you can relax, probably in your face, your fingers, your toes, the belly. And then just find a nice, deep, steady breath to accompany you on this journey, in this pose. Just hang in there, about 5 more breaths. Releasing some breath out through the mouth. Let's bring the toes of the feet a bit closer together. Come up onto your hands and just bring the knees back together. And for here, it just feels nice to go back, sit a little bit towards your heels, just to bend the groin area, which was in a very deep stretch just now. And we can just sway a little bit from side to side. And then eventually we're gonna just come back all the way, lift ourselves up onto the toes, and from here into a yogi squat. So take the feet a little bit wider than your hips, toes probably a little bit out to the side. And if you have your heels up in the air, you can slide something under the heels, maybe 2 small rolled up towels can be really helpful, or you can just roll up your mat and place it there under the heels. Find maybe a thin book or a book that is the right size to slide under the heels to support you here. Or if you have yoga blocks, then you can use those. You can even sit on a yoga block with your buttocks. Okay, and then let's just stay here, and we're gonna again include a bit of movement just to resemble, strengthen the water element with this fluidity. Water element really likes stillness in this kind of yin practice, but it also likes fluid movement. So dance is really great, or any kind of circular, flowy, wavy movement is amazing, like all the circular movements. So take your hands together in front of you, arms to the inside of your knees, and then we are going to wave. Go forward around your back and go back to lift and stretch your back. Exhale forward and inhale, go back. And a few times like this, exhaling forward to the stretch. And inhale, coming back into the lengthening. Go in your own pace, please. In your own time. Bow your head, look at the navel as you breathe out. And then inhale and come into a straight spine, lift the head. Keep the weight evenly distributed on your feet. Remember to have equal weight on the inside and outside of the foot. Oftentimes I see a lot of weight being placed on the inner arch of the feet, and we want to avoid that. So come to the center here, come back to the neutral spine, and take some weight to the outer feet as well. And once we have that set up, you can decide if you want to just stay straight here, or if you want to be in the bend variation. For today's goal, actually, I would recommend doing the bend variation if that's comfortable for you, because it's going to help us to stretch already into the urinary bladder meridian a little bit. But if that doesn't feel good for your neck or for your back, then feel free to stay in the straight up position. Just a little bit more here. And then let's take the hands behind us, wiggle the toes back together, come back with the hands forward. And you can now turn to the long side of your mat if you haven't done already. And let's take a child's pose. So now we are sliding really more into the stretches for the urinary bladder. So take the hips back, take the arms forward. Just wiggle yourself in here. You can take a few sways with the head, roll on the forehead. And then come to stillness and simply rest. And you can have your hands like me forward, or you can take the hands backwards. Really feel the softening of your body becoming deliciously heavy and relaxed. And oftentimes the body is like a door to the mind. When you relax the body, the mind might follow and relax as well. If we just coax it into this state. So sometimes just coming into a seated meditation and from one moment to the next just wanting to be still, in the mind by sitting still in your meditation pose, that's sometimes not gonna work. But we have done a good preparation now. We have moved a little bit. We have gone gradually slower and deeper and more still and still. So I think and hope that your mind is ready to follow that body now into stillness, really honoring that quality of the winter. Let the head be heavy and drop. So begin to wiggle your fingers. If the hands are back, then bring them forward. Begin to spread the fingers wide apart, stretch the arms forward. And we are going to come up into tabletop position with fingers widely stretched. And then curl the toes under. Take a one cow stretch just after this, forward bending, rounding of the back. It will feel really nice. Maybe take a wave up. And then go back down with the belly, lift the head. And then from here, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So lift yourself up and then pedal out the feet. You know that every yin has a little bit of yang in it. That's what we're doing right now. And then let's walk forward to the front of the mat. And we are going to, go like a waterfall. Just gonna go actually up first. But then I would love for you to just cascade forward like a waterfall. Roll the shoulders forward, drop the head, bend your knees a little bit and roll down as far as you get. And then just roll slowly up and let everything be completely loose and limp. As you come up, just stack the head on top of the spine and then fold the chin back down, round the back, the shoulders. Engage your pelvic floor, your navel, bend your knees and roll all the way down. And let's do it with the breath, inhaling up. Slow deep breath. And exhaling back down. First, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders forward, and then roll the spine one vertebra at a time, back down, 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 down. And as you go down, you can imagine yourself like you're being the waterfall, the water moving downwards. Like water is, it always finds the lowest point. It always follows the, pull of gravity. And there we stay. We stay in the forward bend in the ragdoll position. It's called dangling in Yin Yoga. So just let the head completely be loose and limp and heavy. Keep your knees slightly bent, just a tiny mini bend. It can be a big bend as well, but at least a mini bend. And then just exhale a few times through your mouth. It's relaxing your whole being, releasing any stagnation, any tension, any heaviness. And I am imagining myself right now standing on a beautiful, tropical, warm, gentle waterfall, and the water just running over my back, over my legs, the head, just cleansing, clearing me of anything that is not serving my health, my well-being. So feel free to use that imagination, that visualization for yourself too. And we're going to slowly start bending the knees, bringing ourselves back down. And take your buttocks to the mat and stretch your legs out. So we are a little bit more prepared now to take a forward bend, a seated forward bend. So bend the right knee, please. And then take your arms up to the sky. Relax the leg though. Exhale, fold forward. Just create some length in the spine. But then once you're there, just release. And we are going to take here about 10 deep breaths. No pulling, no pushing, no force. It's just being wherever your body needs you to be. And if you have some bolsters, pillows, blankets, or any other object that you decided to use today, you can place that on your legs so it can support the head. You can also make a little pillow with your fists if that feels comfortable for you. For my choice today is just to have my arms, palms facing up in a gesture of receptivity, of opening up to all the blessings from the universe. let the leg just be. I was just noticing myself that I was kind of holding the leg in place with the toes perfectly turned up towards the sky, and it's not necessary. You just leave the legs, the body as it is, completely slack. And then slowly rise up. You can keep your eyes closed. We are just going to change the legs, so nothing you need to see here. Just take the right leg forward, bend the left knee, stretch your arms up to the sky, lengthen up your spine, start bending from the hips, go forward, and finally round, gently round your back. Relax the legs, the spine, the head. Maybe you can try to yawn. It's something that is really relaxing for your face, but also for your whole being. Just to know that the yawn is such an expression of relaxation. It's actually a really good sign when you can yawn in yoga class. It means you're releasing tension, getting a bit more calm and relaxed. Last breath. And slowly rise back up. Okay, so both legs forward. Are you ready? Inhale, reach. Slightly bend your knees. Slide something underneath the knees if you would like to. I'm fine with just keeping them bent like this. And then exhale, fold forward. And just completely relax your face. Get completely calm in your breath, in your mind, in your body. As you breathe, notice your rib cage expanding, your back expanding up, ribs expanding to the sides, and belly expanding down towards the thighs. Just a nice full breath, using the full capacity of your lungs. And then palms facing down. Again, we're going to support the body by pushing with the hands in order to lift us up. And then simply bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing back, and pull the heart up and the navel forward. And then from here you can bend your knees and lift the hips up a few times into reverse tabletop position. You can take your hands, rub them together, and then bring the hands to the lower back, to the kidneys, and rub the kidneys and the lower back a little bit. It's normal that after long yin stretch, your spine can feel a little bit tender, lower back feels a little bit tender. We can just rub this out a little bit, bring a little bit more chi to this area. Let's lie down on our back, and this is gonna feel really nice after this forward bending. We're gonna do a gentle dynamic bridge pose. So the heels are close to the buttocks, and we are going to simply lift the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. Take your hands with you and reach back. On your exhale, go back down, vertebra by vertebra. One at a time. Let's try synchronizing the arms with the spine. So go up all the way. As you reach the highest point with your hips, your arms touch behind you the floor. And the same thing on the way down. Take the hands down, and as we reach the hips to the floor, we also reach the hands down. This kind of exercise really helps us to focus. We try to synchronize these two body parts in their movement. And now if you can do this with the breath, synchronizing arms, spine, and breath to reach the lowest point of your exhale as you touch the hips and the hands to the floor. And do the same on the inhale as you reach up with the hips, with the arms, and the highest point, you reach the highest point of your in-breath, the top of your in-breath. So let's do two more. And then last one. Great. Okay, now we are getting into the grand finale of our urinary bladder meridian. We're going to take the legs up, push into your hands, and roll back. Please only do this if you are okay with your neck doing this. Otherwise, you can just take reclined butterfly pose. So if you're not doing this pose, if this is not okay for you, you just lie on your back and take the soles of the feet together and take your knees wide. Otherwise, let's stay here. So this is a beautiful massage also for the lower back, not for the upper back and the shoulders. Bring the shoulders as close together as you can to avoid too much pressure on the neck area and on the cervical spine. If your feet are touching the floor behind you, then feel free to take the hands down. Otherwise, I recommend, if the feet are a bit in the air, I recommend holding the lower back. You can also keep the knees a little bit bent. If you have a wall behind you, you can put the feet on the wall. If you have a little stool or a pillow or a chair, you could go as high as this, just putting your feet on the couch or the chair or something that you might have close by. So you can also pause the video and set yourself up in order to be able to do this a bit more comfortably if this is not the variation for you that I'm doing right now. Now it's best not to turn the head around anywhere whilst you're in this extreme flexion of the neck. You don't want to turn the head to the, not to the right, not to the left. Just look straight up towards your pubis bone. Keep breathing. If you feel you need to release the pose, feel free to come down any moment. To calm down, you just press the hands into the floor and roll down really slowly and controlled, engaging your pelvic floor and your belly. Yeah. And then after this pose, just bringing the feet down and having one knee against the other knee will feel quite nice. Just be in a neutral position for a moment. And then gradually we're gonna begin to do some pelvic tilts here. So simply press the hands against your thighs whilst pushing the lower back into the floor. And then release the pressing of the hands and release the pressing of the lower back. Let that curve, that natural curve, return to your spine. And let's do this a few times. Just press, hands down, lower back into the earth, and then release. Bring the curve back. Again. Okay, lift the hips just up a tiny little bit and then drop the hips to the right and take the knees to the left into a spinal twist. And spinal twists are beautiful to neutralize the spine after deep forward or back bending. And you can feel the twisting sensation, the squeezing sensation, both in the front of the body and in the back of the body. In the front, we are stimulating the kidney meridian, and in the back, we have the urinary bladder meridian. So let's stay here for a little bit, just breathing, relaxing. This is your last pose before Savasana. And let go of any kind of holding. Simply relax the legs, the arms, the face. Even though it's sometimes hard, we just kind of want to keep ourselves in place like we're used to, in Hatha Yoga. But in Yin Yoga, you really want to set yourself up in a way that you don't need to do that. So maybe that means just sliding the hips a little bit more to the center, maybe taking the legs in a bit of a different shape. But just wiggle around, take that time to prepare yourself to then just let go and really just be. Also letting go of perfection. Maybe your teeth are gently open so that you don't clench your jaws. You can relax around the forehead, eyebrows. want, you can turn the head to the right, away from the knees. Turning back to center. Bring the knees back up to the center and then slide the hips to the center. Just bring the knees in to rock a little bit from side to side for a moment. And then set the feet back down. Slide the hips to the left, only the hips. And then drop the knees to the right. And take your time to set yourself up. So if you want to slide them a little bit more down to the left, you can do that. Decide how you're going to position your legs. Let's just start with the head straight up. Focusing on relaxing the face. Your fingers, your toes. Now gently turn the head to the left. And then knees coming back to the center, hips as well. And then one more time, knees to chest, rocking a little bit from side to side. Massage the lower back. Let's take a few circles. one direction and the other direction. And then feet down. And simply stretch out for Savasana. And I will leave you here so you can just take a Savasana that is nice and long as you would like to, and I will guide you into it now. But just know that you can release Savasana on your own whenever you feel ready. And that Savasana is the best taken as long as you can, as much time as you can stay in Savasana. So let's begin. Take the hands out to the side, palms facing up. Make yourself nice and warm. Cover yourself with the blanket or put on socks so that you are not catching any cold. And then begin the process of relaxing your body. You're gonna start with the feet, relaxing the toes, the feet, scan the ankles, all the way up over the shins and calves. Softening the knees and thighs. And take your attention all the way up to your hips, the inner hips and the outer hips, the lower back. And take your awareness along the lower back to the mid back, the upper back, around the shoulders. And then go all the way down over the chest to your heart, to the belly, and to your inner organs, your sexual organs. Relax your whole trunk. And bring your awareness to your fingertips. And with your mind, relax the fingers, the inner hands, the outer hands, your forearms, your upper arms. Circle your attention around the shoulders and up the neck, coming to your face. And then relaxing the jaws, the tongue, relaxing your cheeks and around your eyes, maybe even inside your eyes. And then notice your nose, your nostrils, the air floats in. Relaxing your forehead and the crown of your head, and the ears and behind the ears. Now just allow your whole body to feel completely relaxed and loose and heavy. And remain in this state, breathing calmly for as long as you can.